Hello and welcome to Paris Set Me Free mini photo tutorials. This shot was taken on a Parisian street and it's an extremely simple picture, and there's really no hint that it's Paris, in contrast to a lot of my photographs where as you know, I try to put something in which says Paris. Absolutely not in this one, but it's Paris, so there you go. And it's a question of keeping your eyes open and looking for little details and in particular contrasts. And in this photograph you've got a very well, it's a very simple photograph, but there's this spindly little sprouting plant which you can imagine has grown up in the middle of some sort of concrete covered jungle sort of a street, but nature always finds a way to poke its little head through. Don't you notice that as you walk around? You'll see little bits of green in the most unlikely places. In the middle of grey concrete buildings there'll be along an edge somewhere some seed will have found somewhere to hang on, and goodness knows what it feeds itself on, but this is a case in point. Completely orange, of course. It's very strange, but it's because of the lighting. This plant is probably green, I imagine, but not in this picture because of the light at night time, looking down from above, the tungsten lighting making everything look orange, unless of course you adjust your camera to tell your camera that you're shooting under orange light, and therefore your camera will pop it back to what it as close as possible to natural colours as it can. In other words, colours lit by daylight. But because it's nighttime, I like to show that it's nighttime, and I do that by normally keeping shots which are lit by orange lighting orange. That's what I've done here, and I've even made it more orange, of course, knowing me. Now, simple as it is, with this nice, you've got a very strong, thick band here, which contrasts nicely with these diagonals, which have actually turned. There's a big wide yellow diagonal, there's a big slab of red which goes up to the top of the picture, and down here the red is echoed. There's another smaller part of red here, and finally a darker section which nicely closes off that corner. You've also got the brightness and texture here, which continues here much darker, and on the edge it's pure black, which is nice, and goes with that little bit of black there. But the real beauty of this picture, I think, is the contrast between this spindly little thing and this strong, thick, also vertical post type of thing. I don't think it's a tree. It looks too regular to be a tree. It's probably some sort of metal post that this has sprouted up next to. And I like the contrast. You know, very often you see this man-made metal, rigid edges, seemingly indestructible, very hard, and this flimsy, vulnerable little plant which is daring to poke its head up with these lovely little curves here. And here the only curve here is on the roundness of the post itself, but then again it's a man-made curve. It's a perfect curve, whereas these are nature's curves. You see it's bent slightly, it's spindly, it's trying its best, and it contrasts wonderfully with this big thick post. So even in such a simple picture as this you can get these contrasts. Let me show you the original. Here it is. You can see it's slightly less saturated and the colours are a bit paler. I had 5 to choose from. I'll just go through them quickly. There's the first one. You can see it's a bit blurred here. The second. And this is about as sharp as I got. It was at night time, and I think that's the one I chose in the end. Again, you can see it's a bit fuzzy. Maybe they're all fuzzy in this video. That's even more blurred. And again, a bit blurred. So none of them were totally sharp. That's where you can see actually here there's a bit of green coming through, even through the yellow lighting. But that disappeared completely after I played around with it. You can also see that there's detail in this post right the way up to the top. The curve giving it that modelling effect, so you know it's round. But I decided to get rid of that and just to go for a dramatic effect with extremely dramatic lighting and strong colours, all in the orangey to yellow band. Unfortunately, because it's a vertical picture and the way I'm doing this video, I have to show you this on the grey background, but it looks gorgeous on a black background. Let me just show you a bit of it there on my my photo site. There it is, Paris Set Me Free. And you can see how good it looks against a black background. Absolutely fantastic. So, that's a photograph which for once doesn't tell you anything about Paris, but it was taken in Paris by me, and something to look out for at night time. Simplicity and nature in its struggle against the modernity and the relentless pace of concrete paving and metal posts in the city. Look out for that if you can. Thanks very much for listening. You can see a better version of this if you go to September 2008 on the blog parissetmefree.blogspot.com. See you next time. Bye bye.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.